chair recognizes Minority Floor Leader Singh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Today I rise asking for $12 million. It's not a lot of money when you take a look at the K-12 budget. When the governor gave out his budget, he said that he wanted to provide $75 per pupil, and that was going to be the increase. For those of you that have actually dug into the budget, you realize that that's not the case. There are winners and there are losers within this budget. So what I'm saying is that this amendment is truth in advertising. Let's get to the governor's recommendation and make sure that every school district gets $75 per pupil. Again, it's only $12 million, Mr. Speaker. And let me tell you some of the school districts that it would help support. It would support the Saugatuck Public Schools, who are only receiving $25 per pupil, extra dollars and resources. It would support Midland Public Schools, who's only receiving $25 per pupil. It would also affect New Buffalo area schools, who are only receiving $25 per pupil. It would also support Livonia Public Schools, who's only receiving $25 per pupil. It would support Novi Public Schools, who only are receiving $25 per pupil. It would support Troy Public Schools, who are only receiving $25 per pupil. It would support Wall Lake Intermediate Schools for consolidated schools, who are only receiving $25 per pupil. The same thing goes for Northville Public Schools. And there's also a variety of others that are receiving under that $75 per pupil. You know why I ask for that? Because there are some school districts, some cyber schools, and some charter schools who are receiving $299 per pupil increase. Can't you at least help those that are only at $25 get to the $75 per pupil that the governor requested? I think it's very common sense. And when you have hundreds of millions of dollars that are in a school budget, can't you get everybody so they at least have a reasonable increase over last year? I offer that because it not only impacts my school districts and mine, but it actually impacts school districts on both sides of the aisle. Anyone who supports this is actually supporting their public schools. I offer that amendment, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minority Floor Leader Singh. The question before the House is the adoption of the amendment. The clerk will open the board. The amendment is not adopted.